A blessed day mga kaibigan. Ako po si Tech Shider at welcome sa aking YouTube channel. Na-exposed na ang mga naging presidente, barm, claimants, mga political sultan at mga matataas na leader sa ating bansa. Sa kanilang mga konspirasya sa kanilang masamang nagawa at masamang agenda. Sa pagkakataon pong ito, ibinunyag ng ating mahal na inang Reynang Helen Abdurajak ang schematic chart ng mga top-level officials. At kung sino ba talaga ang mga kabal o Illuminati, mula sa naging Pangulo ng Amerika hanggang sa mga naging Pangulo ng ating bansa. Ang siyang naghahasik ng lagim para makuha ang natural resources katulad ng oil and gas sa Mindanao. At para magkamit ng pag-control sa mga tao at magkaroon ng mataas na kapangyarihan para mamuno. Ipinunto ng ating mahal na inang Reynang Helen, ang mga leader na ito ay hunger with greediness of money and power. Sa sobrang kasakiman at paghangad ng otoridad ay baliwala sa kanila ang kumitil ng maraming inosenteng tao. Para lang maisakatuparan ang kanilang pansariling agenda, ang maghari at alipinin tayong mga mahihirap. Ang video po na inyong mapapanood ay pagmamay-ari ng ating mahal na inang Reynang Helen Abdurajak. Akin pong inilink ang orihinal na video sa may video description. All credit po sa ating beloved Princess Putria Mariam Aljam at Her Royal Majesty Queen Helen Abdurajak. Atin pong panuulin ang kompletong detalye.
This is very, very important that each one of you must really subscribe so that you will be given a lot of information from today and from the time that I have made the Game of Thrones. This is a divine game, not simply a general's game or a political game. Today, in this episode 6, we are going to really put into the whole world the irony of war, of peace, as used and utilized by the hidden agenda of the Cabal, of the ISIS, for their own protectiveness of their secret to control the world in the oil-rich territory of the sovereign land of the Lupusub Empire, Sultanate of Sulu in North Borneo, Sultanate of Maguindanao, the Royal Hashemite Sultanate of Sulu and Sabah, and the Sultanate of Palawan, Sultanate of Panay Islands, all over the archipelago. I am telling you right now, the time has ended in their own control. We have already exposed the special documents that had been handed to our elder Sahibo Rasad Asgali and to all the survivor of the Jabida massacre. Barm is the power and the authority coming from Cabal and sponsored by Vatican. We have already given you their supreme claimant Sultan, Fidel V. Ramos, and the implementer that they have is Madam Gloria Arroyo. So the scenario of Mindanao conspiracy, as laid down by one of our support late general who labored so much in this. And he was the one who gave me this diagrammatic, the linkages of all the top personality that would really tell the whole world how this involvement came into reality and how they implemented the war in chaos in Mindanao, in Sulu, and in the borders of North Borneo and even to Sabah. It is stated here that America, from W. Bush, handed to Clinton, handed to Obama, and Obama is really identified in this Mindanao scenario of conspiracy. He got the number one towards the ARMM. And from him, it goes to Mahathir. To Mahathir, the number two, just imagine with the three Ramos and Pinoy, Aquino, Simeon the third, and it goes back to Mahathir, how they have made the linkages into this. So the other groups are the MNLF, MILF, the private armies, the political barm that they have put into positioning the BTA, all of this. So from ARMM, they just simply put the B, the barm. So this is a conglomerated scenario of conspiracies that they cannot anymore just simply conceal because the smoke had already surfaced that they cannot cover the secret of killing us in Mindanao, Sulu, Palawan, and Sabah. This is the plight of the poor people, the true heirs and successors. As I said, from Hong Kong, from Macau, I want to Kuala Lumpur. Just the mercy and compassion of God, of Allah. There was a time that I have to shout in the middle of the street, if I am indeed chosen, then give me the needed money that I have just for me to survive. And all of a sudden, I got a ring from a friend asking for my bank coordinates on how to transmit $2,000. It was really indeed a revelation. And from there, I have with me the scientist of Dr. Mahathir. You do not know, Queen. Before I became the wife of Raja Mamay, I had been in the aviation. I had been in the training program. I had been in the educational program of the top level investors of the different countries. So this is the main reason that all of us are given all the chances to go forth on how to establish the kingship in Mindanao. So we have the very good reason for now to really continue on this mission. I can read to you all what I have done and publicized in the whole world in the tri-media. So literally, all of this had been covered already, but the government just want this kept aside because they thought I am just someone that listens to them. They didn't know that I can go forward, that I can go on and on to really move myself into the top level. So upon the expose from Fidel B. Ramos to all the presidents that had really controlled the Sultanate of Sulu and North Borneo. So here comes, I even written the educational system of Malaysia, related the legal brief, and it is publicized. It was done in 2010, and in a series it has been there, and I know that I have moved the world. But, as I said, they are also strong. Cabal is a very, very powerful organization. They are not just organization, they are the government itself because their members are also the head of states and the wealthy family of the entire globe. So Queen had made this mission a very impossible mission, but I have to do it. I have to obey the one who sent me because the recovery program is not only with the heritage asset. It is you that had been covered and driven by the dark force. God, Allah, just want you to be back. So the war and chaos is the game plan of the Cabal, of the Illuminati, utilizing the ISIS. They are just one cobwebs. And we have read that in those documents that are combatant MILF have that kind of proceeding for them to implement war and chaos in Mindanao and Sulu. So can you still say that we are just a piece of what you are in your assessment? No, not at all. So as I read to you, you can find this in the internet. You can find this in the Google. When I have said war is not a solution, Bangsamoro basic law is not a resolution. It is grabbing the freedom to live. It is oppressive. This legal brief of the war versus peace in Mindanao and Sulu had been publicized in the tri-media. And I know that this is the ironical part of what the government had been doing since 1800, wherein they have signed the pact, the agreement of the deed of 1878, that they were just given the lease authority, not the selling of the land, nor the sovereign people. What the Cabal did is, they thought they have already paid us all, and that's why they can enslave us by putting all their means and avenues, by the use of war, by the use of control of food, of our agricultural needs, and all of this, even the educational system. They have controlled all of this. They have adulterated the historical account. They have doctored. They have amended. They have really made a lot of things to conceal and deny the real truth. So, the irony of peace and war is the game plan to achieve a hidden agenda in the guise of humanitarian services and peace and order. War is the means of the top leaders to cover the secret of achieving the peace and harmony of the sovereign people in the sovereign land. Oppression and suppression are the pattern to implement this mode to control even the mind setting of the people. This continuous inculcation of fixated mantra of the top leaders is the projection to contain the subject target into a cage of fixed and consistent packaging, funneled by the power of media projection and perception. This is Mindanao and Sulu to Sabah, 100 years of struggle for liberation and freedom from machinations and manipulations by the top leaders in the high post of the ASEAN nations. Mindanao and Sulu, the land of bandits and terrorism. Subject: MILF, MNLF, BIFF, Abu Sayyaf, NPA, private armies. War is a technique to put the poor at the mercy of the powerful leaders, using the art of divide and conquer. This is a superpower strategy to have dominion over a territory for the secrecy not to be unfolded and unraveled. It is the mechanism and the marking to identify that a territory that succumbed to war is a powerful indication to summon the world's major agency and agencies all over the globe to play their corrupt ways and leadership that defied the original vision for the sake of peace and harmony and global support when necessary arises. Power and influence became the gadget of each head of states to become a person who can mobilize even the major agencies of the world, such as International Court of Justice, United Nations, Organizations of Islamic Conference, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, Central Bank of the Philippines, Federal Reserves, Pentagon, Negara. This is played by the Office of the Presidential Advisor for Peace Process, and through that time, Datu Anwar bin Abdul Aziz and the Sultan of Sulu, who is himself Muhammad Fuad Abdullah Kiram. War must be stopped to attain peace and harmony. Stoppage of war is a cure of all nations in order to minimize and lessen its corrupt and greed for power and money. Until it is fully stopped and world peace is gained and universal brotherhood will reign in all nations regardless of faith, creed, and denominations. Stop the war in Mindanao and Sulu, and the rest of the nations in the whole world shall follow. Our secret is projected 1,000 years that Mindanao is a promised land filled with riches of gold, oil, and diamond. We are now the people to lead the world to achieve global peace, for we are tasked now to resolve the global finance and the global climate change. Major agencies are involved in Mindanao and Sulu, but the people are still not well guided because of corrupt leaders block the implementation of the global resolution. The power of divinity is not ours to control, but let us be the power of his hands to serve our brothers and sisters in the light of faith and love for the seen and the unseen beings. Let us take care of the territory entrusted to each nation, as this is the part of our existence. Respect must reign, and start being human with kindness and generosity. Mindanao is a powerful leader of all nations as to decide the fate and destiny of our fellow men, of the new era, of the plight of New Jerusalem. We must listen to the signs of the times. Mindanao must redirect rehabilitate, restructure, and rebuild the governance of the entire Philippines towards the ASEAN and to the global earth. No more Moro National Liberation Front, Moro Islamic Liberation Front. These are the offshoot of too much greed by our former head of states, the faker, the duplicator of Ferdinand Idrolin Marcos and Tun Mustafa Harun, to control the authority of the Sultan of Sulu and North Borneo that led to the global turmoil and war in the Middle East because of the conspiracy of the leaders that control the oil field. Professor Normie Suari can attest to this. That is the main reason the 15th Council held him against his will as protected by the local officials and the armed forces of the Philippines. The chess game been played since 1936 upon the death of Chamakalul Kiram II. This is the milestones of all claims that Marcos, Kiram, Diaz's, Santa Romanas, and Tagiantalianos are the pillars of the conspiracy towards the no resolution of the ownership and the authority of the sovereign territory of Sulu in North Borneo and the Philippines Islands. This is the bulwark of the machinations and the manipulations and payoff schematic funding of the Malaysian political and military packager headed by Datu Anwar with 490 Mabini Hall of Secretary Ochoa and Attorney Serapio, whose authority from the Sultan Sulu assumed and acquired by Sultan Fidel B. Ramos as the adopted son of Ismail Kiram, son of Punjungan, who was the blood that killed the last monarch as recorded Jamalul Kiram II. And the financial law firm of Serapio Araneta controls the global asset bank accounts manipulation using Muhammad Fuad Abdullah Kiram I, whose documents are all declared stolen document as protected by the Sabah and Sarawak High Court and for the World Bank. Edita Ibarita took the passport name Princess Fatima Montenegro Abubakar, stolen from Lazaro T. Manaay, former priest, G's Father Jesus Manaay, who were the trader of the Marcos and Mustafa. OPAC, Office of the Presidential Advisor for Peace Process, brokered the peace with Najib, as funded by Anwar Aziz, who claims the AAA, and been finding and funding the ARMM for the takeover of Ligwas Mars, and allied with the claimants Sultan Sulu to claim the wealth and assets and properties and to control Ligwas Mars using the money of the GPLF in funding framework agreement, CAB, and the support of the armament from MNLF, MILF, BF. The latest was the MNLF of Rolando Olamit, who claimed the new chairman of MNLF, since no more MNLF, MILF, as the co-terminus of the expiration of Mapilindo in September 16, 2013, and the Carpenter Agreement in March 22, 2014, which I just have to put it that way because the final expiration was March 22, 2015. Then anyone to be used as the entity to play to create economic sabotage and disrupt our right to peace and harmony are considered terrorists and can be arrested by the civilian forces of the sovereign people and the sovereign land of Mindanao and Sulu as mandated by the sovereign judge of the Royal Imperial Lupasug, Islamic United Kingdom of Sulu and North Borneo. Any claimant Sultan Sulu and North Borneo shall be arrested once proven as conspirators to implement war and economic sabotage, and once entered into the banks and financial institutions to claim and get funds directly and indirectly. For many years, the head of states enjoyed the oil extract in Palawan, Borneo, and other parts of the sovereign territory, and thereby should be given notices to return it back to the rightful owner of the Royal Imperial Lupasug, Islamic United Kingdom of Sulu in North Borneo. The usability of Chairman of MILF, Ibrahim Murad, got its basis from the 1996 organized council that collected huge membership fees for the release of the revolutionary funds known as Bldg, Bangsamoro Economic Development Council, whose founder is Salik Buwisan in Pikit North, Cotabato. This was followed by Bangsamoro Development Agency, owned by Murad, whose financier and source from World Bank and the local banks that can make bank arrangement. Development agencies owned by this are all under the watchful eye of the Sovereign Court. After we initiated the Blood Compact in October 2010, and with solid land ancestral domain of Pandala Pasandalan, the group of Ferma Usman, Haji Abdullah Santos, the errand of Lola Maria Ilaw Gusilatar Santa Ana, the daughter of Congressman Amirul Umra Amil Bangsa, the one who assumed the name of the title of Jamalul Kiram II and became the manipulator of the kingdom to Lupasug and trustee of Marcos Mustafa that made Lola Maria Ilaw as the Dragon Lady that released funds until we blocked for the 7 trillion USD for World War III, Obama, and Malaysia using MNLF. In this light, the NGO of Commodore Patrick Lamy, the loyalist of Fuad Kiram I, became ally of Ferma Usman and Romina Findadon, Baikan Rajabuayan, Major Bai Pangilayan, Danny Macalaw, and Sumimba, one of the 15th Council known as Global Maharlika Foundation, that collected a lot of membership that supported them in Manila, attending spiritual gatherings and Malacanang issues. This Maharlika tandem with Sultan Manco of Malasila that falsified public documents by registering the survey of entire Liguasan Mars to Land Registration Agency. In turn, this is used by Datu Anwar Aziz as vouched by his trustee, Rizalino B. Asuncion, that got sold to Japan together with Morelos, who is the sponsor of Muhammad Fuad, Abdullah Kiram I, that partnered now with Morden Taliano, who collects 125,000 pesos in exchange of certificate of royal titles. This now heightened by the support of the groups of the Task Force Kalikasan, whose horse in the MNLF back of Rodrigo Pavilion, the asset of Bong Revilla, Pax and Tuto Mangudadato, Binay Bongbong Marcos, and the recent name is the Eagle Squad, in alliance with 38IB and 6ID. They subgroup Jutiles, Solar, Women Power, Maharlika headed by Sultan Sambas, the Sultan together with OPAP and the Islamic Tribal Foundation. All of these entities in the ground, their end person are Serapio, Ochoa, Inrili, who are always out of the country, releasing, as they say, so more collection from the poor. Same with the mechanics of Anwar, more collection from GPLF, since the 20 tons of gold, uncut dollar shall be lifted with Captain Musraf Jonathan Pinid Lumawan, is the horseman to shatter the poor and make promises to the hungered MNLF and MILF. This is one of the most important that I have laid down since 2010. Therefore, bottom line, funds from illegal laws being drafted for implementation are illegal and unconstitutional. Control of power and money, assets of Mindanao and Sulu to Sabah, under the banner of the King and Queen of Lupisug, Imperial Kingdom of the Poor, to benefit and live accordingly, enjoying the basic primary needs, and the GRP, AFP, LGU, UMNO Malaysia, target is oil control, which is not still theirs. It belongs to Mindanao and Sulu and Palawan. And their motive is still the guise of peace, using peace process of the office of the President of the Philippines as brokered by Malaysian funds. So who then is the terrorist? Not the BIFF. They are guardians of our... We shall see that BIFF are defender of their territory, the area of responsibility of Queen Field of Bldg was on Mars, and the Mujahideen of the mountains of Patikul, Indanan, and the entire Sulu, Basilan Tawita are being embraced by the Queen to be reformed and rehabilitated under the creation of the National Liberation Front of Southern Philippines, and that is the raft that I have really made, which, has been given to Bongbong. That's one thing you should be answerable to me, together with that fellow that I have entrusted. This is the reason why Queen has all the documents to prove to the worlds to see. I am adding on this that war is a cover-up of their games of throne, games of illegalities to sit in power and enjoy the money at the expense of the poor. This was given last October 6, 2014, to all the people in the world. But this was done in the research process from 2010, when I was trying to search why Raja Mamay is being threatened to be killed and not being approved to go back home. So therefore, the land grabbers that sold the lands to foreign empires. And this is the capture of the picture. The Sultan claimant of Raja Buayan, Pax Manguda Datu, used Ibrahim Murad, MILF, but only BF contingent troops to deal with Malaysian packager that brokered the selling to Japan. Congressman Tupay Luong is the claimant of Sulu ownership packager that now grabbing the lands of Indanan. Hataman grabbing Basilan and sold to foreign lands, now that it's the participation of Malacanang, and who created the 15th Council of the Bangsamoro, which led to the machination of MNLF and MILF. Norberto Gonzales and Yusuf Jikiri must answer to this. They are both dead. The 490 Mabini Hall of Malacanang Palace, spiritual government of Ramos, with Charlie Serapio, Paquito Ochoa, and OPAP, Delis must be the primary entities to be litigated for messing the peace and order of Mindanao and Sulu. This was still done in 2014, before that I have already made the law in 20 Royal Decree. So just imagine into this. All of these are properly documented. All of this are all in the Trimedia, in the Google, and in the Facebook, and submitted lawfully to all the major agencies. Can you still say that I am just lying? Can you still see the cobwebs of the conspiracy that you have laid down? Or are you all blinded? Because this was given to us. This was given to us. And Maas called me up. Maas called me up. I know who are alive and I know who are dead. Now what crime can we give you for doing that? Misrepresentation? You have played gods. This is the divine government. You have played gods. You have made the world in chaos. We could have prevented the war in Russia, in Ukraine, in Israel, and now in Palestine. We could have prevented that if you abide with what is asked of you to return it back to the real owner. But you are all very stingy. You are all liking the violence. You want violence to reign. You want all of this to continue. You want all of this to be your pattern so that you can just simply have this at your own hands. Control, power, money, luxury is what you want. So, as we discussed yesterday, the conspiracy, or even today, we know that we have so much to really prove to you. And I would like to read to you the one that has been publicized inside the Trimedia. Why the newspapers will not get it? Because they are also paid. All of this had been let out throughout the world. You can find this. You can find this. Wow, it is not being seen. There's a miracle into it. But you see, I have kept this from 2010 in my saga, in my cruising, in trying to find the truth. Why they are trying to kill Raja Mamay. Raja Mamay is a faker, and yet you support the brother who is now the faker. You that support Raja Alnas. Because Raja Mamay name is being used by the government of Sabah, the government of Malaysia. The only difference is the person is Alnas. And who is the Helen they are using? Every day is a process of revealing the truth and the expose of all the lies. So that diagrammatic scenario in Mindanao, together with the global scenario of conspiracy as authored by Madam Gloria as the implementor and using the MNLF. And now, because of the case of Maas, they shifted to Murad. Now Murad, because as we know, there is no more Murads. They can use it. They can do it. They can manipulate everything. Because they thought forever the cabal will reign the entire global earth. And they are mistaken into it. So this diagram that we have shows the conspiracy in utilizing the riches of the country of our beloved Philippines by the very people who spouses the so-called freedom. This is the very sensitive issue that no one will admit. They are all scared because of fear to be killed. That is the game of throne of all the claimant sultan. They pay. They can put out billions to kill the one attacking them, the one negating them, the one fighting them. That's why no political opponents will survive in Mindanao, in Sulu, because it's just money to kill. So do you want that? Can you achieve really the peace and prosperity that you need? That is the game. That is the fear of everyone, that when they start to talk, their family are in trouble. That is occurring in Mindanao. This is the sequence of the Mindanao conspiracy. The one who wrote me told me really, I request to your eminence to keep this among your trusted friends. This was explained to me by one of our fighters for the real freedom, which I readily believe to be because of the foregoing explanation. Nothing to worry, General. I salute you for having this. Wherever you are, I give you my love, my respect. America cannot play their game anymore because the Carpenter Agreement, the police power that they have, ended in March 22, 2015. That's why I read the legal brief that I give them up to 2014. But I was able to do something and became the parallel government officially in March 22, 2015 at the strike of midnight on March 15. However, as the Queen, since 2009, I have been doing my job. I have sacrificed my life to find the truth. So many bloggers, so many would like to help. And I thank my people for helping me bring out the truth. I know. That's why I do not sleep. I know those people who are liking my videos, who are sharing my videos, who are blocking the videos. I know who are my friends. I know who are my detractors. I know my people. You are with me for what? Thank you. Look into my eye and you will see the difference. Because up to now, the one that they had been doing since 2009, they keep on going, growing, be with me, taking all my pictures, but behind the scene, they are doing their own hidden agenda. with the BARM, with another group supporting the BARM silently. That is conspiracy. You are living in conspiracy. You are trying to disturb the process, disrupt the movement, and most of all, you are the planted ones. And you don't know that I spent millions to be able to catch you. I sacrifice my own comfort, my want to have a good food, my want to have a good shampoo, my want to have my own beauty tips. I forgo all of those because I want to catch who are the enemies of God, of Allah, using the power and authority entrusted to them. So the author of this, in trying to tell me that I have to be fearsome of the Black CIA, I have to be fearsome with the Black Pope using my brothers in the religious community, I have to be fearsome because the one planted is just at the tip of my nose. But nonetheless, I could tell you, it is the love and my faith that even the enemy I wanted to be softened and really make the confession. Make that confession because who knows, tomorrow you're gonna die. Confess now. What can you get from them? It is not mine to suffer anymore. I have been watching you. If you can imagine this, what I am doing, it's all done. Even if they get my documents, trace it. As I told you, every letter has a guardian. And I know my documents. I know what I have written. I know what I have done. So the author of this that sent me said, the United States has remained to be the greediest nation in the world, and its ways and means of achieving its goals, although it is not the mainstream of the population that desires so, and because there are only a few that control the USA for their selfish motives, to the point of sacrificing their own people, as we have seen in the 9/11 episode, the 9/11. U.S. President Bush desired the vast oil of the Middle East. That's why the Aramco, the Arab American Corporation, the company that they used, particularly Iraq. And so all plans were directed towards getting it by hook or by crook. That's why they could kill. And that is the fear of this author that gave me. The best reason, though, of it, in order to declare war on Iraq, was the 9/11 scenario. Without that scenario, there would be no reason for the U.S. to go to war in Iraq. It's just the same mechanics of what the OPEP has been doing, the Office of Malacanang had been doing. It's just the same platform, as we say. War in the guise of peace. Now, President Obama's desire is to get all the natural resources from the East Asian nation, particularly our country, the Philippines, being the least improved and the least capable to defend our own national territory. It is this desire of Mr. Obama that the following scenario was based in the participation of our own ex-President Ramos is to be noted. And I can view as an act of treason against the Filipino people. I expect that to be as he had proven himself as the grand thief during his rise for power, and until this moment, I can say, may he be not a Filipino by heart, because he has always been the American boy since. It's like Gloria. There is no need to reiterate this point, since a lot of instance that has favored the Americans rather than his own countrymen. Sure. In order to start the ball rolling, Obama's plan is to control the ARMM. That's why they can just land anytime. As I was in Maguindanao in Ligwasan, American planes can just land in Jensen, can land in Cotabato Airport, because they have been given by Gloria an open sky. And I don't know right now by Bongbong, but since Gloria, the so-called Gloria, came to them with Biden, so what kind of agreement behind the noses of the Filipino people? And this could be an act of treason. You don't know that. It is being very vulnerable point of the country, or the weakest link of our nation, represented by the number one, which is Obama himself. And he will accomplish this by instructing Ramos and Mahathir. This is very good because, you know, at the end of the day, just last year, I have already executed the warrant of arrest to Alnas, including Mahathir. That is the sovereign authority. Because no one can litigate them, but they are trustee of our forefathers. Mahathir is the adopted son. You will know more as we go along in this Game of Thrones. That's why they are the kings. Ramos became king because all the Sultan, the sons of Punjungan, revered him as the Supreme Sultan. And Gloria is with my ama in Bulungan, Sultan Kasimuddin Jamalul Kiram Alam III. You will know who is queen on the process. This is the Game of Thrones. This is the game of the divinity. Not anymore the game of the generals. Because your generals are all the MNLF who paid their rank by 5,000 to be able to be the general. Is that your general? Or the generals in the armed forces of the Philippines? But they could be accused by court-martial as treason. Don't you know the law? To control the world means they have to control the central bank of ARMM. We didn't know that they have already made the central bank of the ARMM. And whose money is that? For God's sake. That is the money of Raja Mamay. Can you blame me now how I am being so upset? Why do you use Alnas? Why do you give Alnas luggage by luggage of Malaysian ringgit? Because you have concealed the fact. The Queen Mother gave 10 million USD to Raja in 1999, and you made the Abu Sayyaf. When the father died, Queen Mama sent another amount because that is the promise, the vow of his royal family. We know when we die, we know where to go and get our incentives. And the 13 billion US dollar that had been given by King Abdullah to the grandson. Do you know that Raja Mama is the direct grandson of the sister of King Fahad of Saudi Arabia? Yet, misrepresented by the brother. And this is my time to have all of this settled. And this could be represented, as I am saying to you, if I have to show that in the other way, it is not seen. Oh, so my computer is being, look at that. So, the very strong point is that from Obama to the ARMM, the strong point, that's why they could manipulate. The central bank of ARMM, this is represented in the diagram as number 2. Wow. So Mahathir is the keeper and the funder of all the chaos. Oh, we know now, huh? Wow. Ramos in turn at the number 3. So Ramos here on top. Neutralizes Pinoy with the threat to his presidency. So, you can just imagine how he controlled Malacanang because of the money, because of the power and authority loaned to them. Or will cooperate with the general plan and receive a huge dole out, enough for them, their grandsons and granddaughters to live like kings and queens of a long, long time. I was told it is the billions of US dollars coordination with Mahathir in number 4. Wow, Ramos and Mahathir. How about the predecessor, the successor of Putrajaya? We will know by this. So this is a direct coordination with Mahathir. Was done by the liaison of Ramos, the henchman, Boy Saicon. Wow. They have a name. Remember, all these things are current. The only part that is not consummated as of this time is the control of ARMM, although negotiations have been made. The other groups indicated are trying to get into Obama group and the leaders to be in ARMM as soon as they have their leaders in position, as soon as possible. Or we can hope that it is implemented in the next election if we are lucky. One of the proof that Pinoy was paid for the group in his unprofessional handling of the recent Sabah issue, which we were lengthily discussing over the phone by Gloria to President by Bush that time. It was really surprising for the president of free country to perform such indecisiveness in the face of an international issue. You see? All of this, the majority cohorts are all written up. The only way we may be able to avert this scenario from being implemented is the leadership of a strong man whose organization that backs him or help her, as it actually characterized by a strong base that will support the aims we are fighting for. We should have people that can't be blinded with money, but rather those trusted men that looks up the future of our children's children. Otherwise, the same people that joined our cause will just return to nowhere they originally came from. It is the light that I am sharing you this information because you have the clout being the Sultanate's throne, whom all the wealth these people are eyeing belongs to you. This is a group that will help us in the realization of this dream. But I will not come easy for us, since you have requirements for us to satisfy. Maybe the world is really like this, that you really have to shed out something in return for another. Although they told me not to worry because this is not as compared to the vultures I have cited earlier. This note was passed on to me, but I believe there is another group utilizing this inner circle of the player, even called the direct support of the names identified in exchange of money. This diagram shows the conspiracy in utilizing the riches of the country, our beloved Philippines, by the very people who spouses the so-called freedom. This is the very sensitive issue that no one will admit to that this is occurring. So, this is it, and that is the very reason the United States has always been the greatest nation on earth. Thank you very much for sharing this to me, because now I have a very good avenue that I am not alone in this crusade of gaining back our freedom. ARMM belongs to Ramos, belongs to Mahathir. Now, they paid Bongbong to carry on. They paid all of this to continue. The payoff scheme continues in our dream for supremacy in the name of the claims of Sabah, which is the ARMM. BARM, you are all under the watchful eye of the Sovereign Court. I was told that they will already make a decision. But year has passed. I have seen nothing had been decided. Whoever you are listening to me, time is already ending, and you yourself will be given the worst of your nightmare for conspiring to Mahathir, for conspiring to Najib, for conspiring to the rest of the group, for conspiring to the Sabah stand-up, Zamboanga stand-up, 44-7 sacrifice, Marawi siege, Pagla stand-up, and for the stoppage of this movement for us to be seated in the throne. I know that my daily broadcast now is different from what had been. I'll be reading to you more and more as I have recalled. Last time, in trying to find a solution in Sabah, I was just in a small room. I failed to open the aircon. For 3 hours, I was really focused. I was really in depth communion with the Father. And I forgot that I was not breathing anymore. But my little computer was able to do something that would benefit you today and would destroy the ARMM and its sponsored. Their padrinos, their godfathers, will have to pay the crime of conspiracy. This is not just what they say. It is the documents that speaks for itself. Malacanang, the very source, the haven of conspiracy, protecting the Godfather, the United States of America. You see? You made the people suffer because you want to be in supremacy. You want slaves so that You will be the kings and queens, being paid, being doled out with the huge money coming from our own natural resources. Are you not shameful of this? Can you still sleep with it? Now see, no wonder my brother told me the worst scenario may come. And this is the thing that we should have to listen up. I'd like to give you the most important one. I am sure I want to continue reading this because this will give you the very important realization that this mission is properly documented. And so that you will know that all of this movement that I have has been given to the Senate, to the Congress, to all the governments of the world that could see. Because we have the basic documents that we could prove to the world. Remember, I was in Sabah at the time, and to be able to know, I was able to get hold of the House of Representatives, the concurrent resolution number 42. This is the Second Congress of the Republic of the Philippines, and this is the concurrent resolution by as introduced by the Congressman Macapagal, Rasul, Iscarial, Casas, Tizon, Tolentino, and Lacson. So by this alone, you will know that this is the part why they have kept this very much. They have concealed this, and no one is allowed to get a copy of this outside Malacanang Records section. So, this is one of the documents that I had been reading because Raja Mamay was just given to me by the grandfather, validated by the grandfather, Raja Usman, Sharif Usman Datu Ismail, Munali, Sultan Toron Lawan Tumaga, Sultan Muhammad Ismail Ikram. I obeyed. But of course, physically, I need to fight in courts and into the world. How could I help the grandson? How could I help the legitimacy of recovery? In the past, in all my documents, I never divulged the identity of the true Ferdinand Iderlin Marcos Sr. I just simply put it in general terms because of their conspiracy with the martial law. But in my attestation and in my defense, it was not FEM, the Marcos number 1, who declared and implemented martial law. There are so many Marcos 1 now, and I thereby ask each and every one, because I have my proof. I have my proof. But I am still welcoming you. If you want to help me, then so be it. You have your authority, then go ahead. But however, if you will continue defying the truth, you yourself will be in trouble. Because it's not anymore the political laws that will give you justice. It is the court of heaven that will give you the justice that you need. So the expressing the sense of the Congress of the Philippines that North Borneo belongs to the heirs of the Sultan of Sulu and to the ultimate sovereignty of the Republic of the Philippines, and authorizing the President to conduct negotiations for the restoration of such ownership and sovereign jurisdiction over said territory. I'd like to remind each and everyone, many are misled. Many had been given the disinformation because of this ultimate sovereignty lies in the Republic of the Philippines. That's why they thought that the Sultan of Sulu is the one in Malacanang. Wrong. Wrong. Queen proves to the world that you were given only the tenure of authority. But the heirs and successors are by the power and authority direct from the lineage of the Kirams of the Alams. Okay. You said that it is the people of the Philippines the owner of the sovereignty. Point to point. The Sultan of Sulu leased the land to the British chartered North Borneo. Chartered Borneo. It was leased to Baron Oberbeck and to Maclod Taliano. Gustavus Oberbeck. It was leased, but it was not sold out. Because of communication, they have misinterpreted again. So all of this, America has really made us suffer in controlling all of this together with the Vatican. If you can see this resolution, I put this one as the basic documents for me to find. The focal legitimacy. That's why when I was in Sabah, it was indeed a very good program for me. So, I will be able to give you this in my next episode because I know every time I say things, the lightning just strikes in front of me. That is the herald that something must be done. Whether you like it or not, the time has come. All of you, as I lay down, stop the war, redirect the bomb. It's not yours. It belongs to the Sultan of Sulu and North Borneo, Sultan of Maguindanao, Sultan of Ratchabuyan, and it belongs to the royal family. That's why I am asking each and everyone to be able to become my family. Have your sovereign identity card. From there, we will start doing what is right for the benefit of each and every one of you as the sovereign people of this new nation, restored nation, the Federal Republic of the Philippine Islands and the Federal Republic of Lupasug. I will be discussing to you this concurrent resolution so that you will be able to understand the real essence of it. As we have seen, why they continually put wars, because they know they have benefited the 100 years of oil and gas proceeds. But where are we? What happened to us? That is the question. Nobody fight for this for the sake of your people. But now I hope you can listen and help me fight our right, fight for our own sovereignty, fight for our own lives. We need to live in peace and harmony. And see you again as we continue for the next series. For now, thank you very much. At least you have seen the real culprit from the office of the president, from the office of the Putrajaya of Indonesia, as controlled by the packagers. United States, Malacanang, Ramos, Gloria, and all that had been paid to fight the true ones. God bless everyone. Bye.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagmamahal at pagsuporta sa ating mahal na Haring Rhadaa Mamay. At sa mahal na inang Reynang Helen Abdurajak Elizabeth III. Please like the video to support. At inyong i-share sa inyong social media communities. At kindly subscribe kung kayo po ay bago sa aking YouTube channel. God bless.